Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Canada, indeed to French Canada, for the inaugural Tour of Canada and the finale to the cross-country Wiesmann season. Well, this has been a splendid journey, and this journey has brought the finest of the World Cup to Canada, to Gatineau. It's a city in western Quebec, and it's the fourth largest city in the province after Montreal, Quebec City and Laval, and about 50 kilometers to the north of Quebec City, which we'll be visiting later in the tour. Today is all about sprinting in freestyle. It's 1,700 meters made up of 2 loops, so quite a long endurance test in sprinting terms, but all the main characters are here with just 3 sprints contained within the Tour of Canada remaining in the season. And this is our program over the coming days. And as you look at this, it's very much like the Tour de Ski. It's a question of your time being added collectively together so that at the end of the Tour of Canada, like the Tour de Ski, it will be the person with the fastest time and last across the line in the final stage who will win this prestigious innovation to the cross-country World Cup. Some 4,000 people out for qualification earlier, and some 10,000 expected for now the upcoming quarterfinals. But before we get to that, let's just remind ourselves what happened in the last sprint of the season. That was in Finland, in Lahti. It was a freestyle sprint that saw Maika Kaspersen-Faller notch up her 5th win. So Kaspersen-Faller moving away with Heidi Weng in this final, also Astrid Jakobsen. It was very much a Norwegian affair, but the woman, the Olympic champion, wearing the red bib as the top sprinter for the season, really setting the pace as she turned for home, and seemed to be clearing off with Norwegians in 2nd and 3rd places, including, of course, Heidi Weng. But as they came to the business end of the race, Faller out sprinting, and on the near side, Jessica Diggins of the United States coming through on the far side there for a personal best to finish 2nd in the Lahti freestyle sprint, ahead of Norway's Heidi Weng in 3rd place. In the men's sprint in snowy conditions, well, it turned out to be not another victory for the Tour leader, Federico Pellegrino. It was all about the rising Norwegian star, Emil Iversen. He'd won already in round 5 in Oberstdorf during the Tour de Ski, and it would seem that his chance was going to be whisked away from him, with the likes of Finn Hågen Krogh also close, and Pellegrino. But Pellegrino faded. Iversen held off Krogh to record his first 100-pointer of the season. So that sets the scene. We're about 5-6 minutes away from the start of the quarterfinals. Women first, men later. And we'll be back for that after this. Well, it's a much warmer afternoon than it was morning. It was -18 earlier on here in Canada. Lots of real snow, but the course is actually an artificially made course, and this is the journey. The climb is not really that severe. The climb and the height difference, 10 meters, the maximum climb only 8 meters. But I think the interesting thing about this twisty and turny course is the fact that it's basically 2 times 850 meters, and the fact that there's a 75 to 80 meter finish line, pretty straight, and before that another straight. You can see there the curve, the right-hander that will bring them into the finish straight, and there's another 75 meters there. Well, here you can see the results of the qualification. And interesting to see up there Hannah Falk as the fastest qualifier. And as you look at these competitors, let me tell you one or two who didn't make it. the likes of Nicole Fessel, Elena Prochaskova of Slovakia, Lorian van der Graaf. They all missed out. The promising Russian, Polina Kovaleva, Laura Mononen of Russia. And in the men's division, Pedonautuk, the fastest around the track, very interesting there. Evgeny Belov of Russia, Maurice Magnificat, Marcus Hellner, Alexander Legkov, and Andrew Musgrave, another who didn't make the cut. He was about 8 to 9 seconds off the pace. But the very good news is that Andrew Young from the Huntley Nordic Ski Club, 10th in the qualification time trial, and he's in the quarterfinals. So that's very good news for Andrew Young. It'll be very interesting over this slightly longer course than normal to see how Andrew, who isn't the quickest of starters, actually prevails. Here you can see how the heats are laid out. As I say, a very good afternoon to Ian. Just to confirm, I gather, Ian, that you're going to be around the races in Quebec, so really good news. You'll have an eagle eye on it, and I think that's a really splendid opportunity to, you know, decide for yourself about this Tour of Canada. Everybody really excited about it. And I think the other note, which I think is, thank you for emphasizing it, the fact that they flipped the Canmore sprint from freestyle to classic to slightly balance up things. I'm agreed to that. I think 3 freestyle sprints towards the end there was a little bit too much bias. There is Teresa Juhaug, and Teresa in the first of the women's quarterfinals. And if you're not familiar, it's the same as it is over in Europe. First 2 who cross the line go to the semi-finals by right, and then we're looking for 2 lucky losers out of the rest there. 1 or 2 yellow cards floating around. This is Jess Diggins, that personal best in Lahti in sprinting for this woman, enjoying her best ever season. Hannah Kolb for Germany, about 4th fastest in this lineup. Erzberg, of course, 2nd in the overall sprint rankings, 3 times a runner-up, 3 times 3rd this season. Teresa Juhaug, the overall World Cup leader. And then Victoria Carl, fresh from the under-23 Worlds, where she finished 7th in the freestyle sprint. The first of 5 quarterfinals, and away we go. So 850 meters, and look at the crowds here. They've really taken to this. We're in the Jacques Cartier Park, and named after the French explorer who at one time claimed Canada for France. And up front it's Hannah Kolb for Germany, wearing bib number 17, and also there Victoria Carl wearing bib number 9. So Germany making a strong start, and Teresa Juhaug. The one I didn't mention there, so apologies, Maya, I hope I'm going to get this right, Machisak Jones, 20 years of age for Canada, has done really well to qualify into this quarterfinal stage. As you can see, it's a twisty course round here, so there is a real advantage in having a good position early on. And it is the inexperienced Canadian who's at the back here. But it's the final 2 curves, the final right-hander into the straight, which is going to be, I think, all important. Rising up that 8-meter climb, it's not very severe, as they come back into the stadium complex. And Germany still 1 and 2. Teresa Juhaug just about in 4th place at the moment, as they come round to the half distance, and it is Victoria Carl, under 23 silver medalist at 10 kilometers freestyle, and also a silver medal in the 10-kilometer classic. So really good performance by her, as now Jess Diggins uses her strength and power. The woman from Minnesota on Canadian snow, going ahead, wanting to get a position. And there are three. Ersberg also looking for a position, hunting up behind Jess Diggins now. So out they go again. The next time they've got this extra bit into the finishing straight. And it's Ersberg for Norway in second place. Also a little far back, we've got Teresa Johaug as well, who still needs to try and improve to use her endurance strength. But Jess Diggins really pushing on here. Ersberg in second place, then the two Germans shoulder to shoulder, then Johaug and then the young Canadian Maya. And Ersberg sticking, and three just beginning to get away. Hannah Kolb and Victoria Karl for Germany, looking for lucky loser spots there. So it would seem. Johaug, well, it's getting a time and getting some World Cup points. Every point counts for her. But Diggins now leading off in third place there. That is Hannah Kolb. And Diggins being outflanked on the far side by the finishing pace of Ingvild Flugstad Ersberg. But Diggins strong enough to hold on and qualifies automatically 3:32.9. And you can see that this is quite a journey that these women are on. And then you've got Hannah Kolb and Victoria Karl for Germany, who'll be hoping for one of the lucky loser spots. Teresa Johaug in fifth place, eliminated, but she'll get the odd World Cup point or two. But of course, her strength will come in the distance races. Worth, as you see them coming to the line here, just emphasizing the current situation in the overall World Cup, which, of course, Teresa Johaug is striving for 2,025 points. She's 246 ahead of Ersberg, 468 ahead of Heidi Weng. So straight on to the second of the quarterfinals. Teresa Johaug, of course, the winner of the Tour de Ski, would love to win the Tour of Canada. Ersberg was the runner-up. Now Ida Ingmarsdotter for Sweden. The 12th place finisher in the Tour de Ski. Micah Kaspersen-Faller, you just saw there, 6 wins in 7 races for Maiken. And very much focused on the Sprint World Cup. Ida, tall, she was runner-up in Lenzerheide this season. That's her best race so far. Nika Razinger, who's been to Raznov in Romania for the under-23 Worlds, 6th in the freestyle sprint there. Sophie Caldwell for the United States, winner of the Tour de Ski Oberstdorf Classic sprint this season, so that was a breakthrough for her. And Steffi Böhler, who was just outside the top 15 for Germany in the Tour de Ski. Same rules, same regulations, same journey. The sunshine has deserted us, which is a little disappointing because it was glorious early on. So Micah Kaspersen-Faller, a real star of sprinting, the Olympic champion in the women's division. Kaspersen-Faller, winner of the classic double in Drammen and Stockholm, and most recently, of course, victory in Lahti. And she has several ways of racing. This is one of them, which is leading out from the beginning, and she's leading out ahead on the right hand of the screen there, wearing 5. That's Ida Ingmarsdotter. And on just behind her there, wearing 26, that's Sophie Caldwell for the United States. Very good afternoon to Paul and Paul Clark, and glad to have your company for these cross-country sprints. Particularly as you're an Ottawa resident, you'll know much about this part of the world. And of course, I think we'd all like to see Alex Harvey have a good race here in the overall Tour of Canada. But back to the present, and up front, not surprisingly, Micah Kaspersen-Faller, and she's got them in single file here. Really spread out. Sweden second, United States third. This fourth largest city in the province, Gatineau. Some 250,000 people live in this part of the world. And Faller ahead, Norway, Sweden, USA. That's the order it's been for a while now. And plenty of encouragement. They've been looking forward to this for months here in Canada. And they're all there or thereabouts, I have to say, at the moment. Nika Ratica for Slovenia in that brighter blue and yellow out on the right-hand side there. But not much change in the order at the back. 27, that's Steffi Böhler. One of the athletes, she's tiny really, Steffi. She's a physique, great power to weight ratio. Not quite as good though as the likes of Teresa Johaug, who is the absolute superstar of this sport at the moment. And I wonder what Marit Bjørgen's making of this, the world champion. Maybe missing out on this occasion, but nonetheless she'll be intrigued. So you can see the power of the Swede, the taller Swede, trying to get on terms with Micah Kaspersen-Faller. Trying to get back into the race there, Sophie Caldwell. After her problems, and it's opened the door for Germany's Denise Herrmann, who's just about in third place now. Really unfortunate for Sophie Caldwell. 10 there, that is Denise Herrmann. And 3:32.9 was the winning time of Jess Diggins, and Micah Kaspersen-Faller just accelerating, double poling in here. And this is really good. And 3:34.8 slower. But I think managing your energy on this sort of journey is going to be pretty important when you consider that by the time you get to the final, you will have raced not once, not twice, but 3 times on this course there. And bad luck really for Sophie Caldwell. So Micah Kaspersen-Faller, as the true professional that she is, marches on here. And you can see Sophie Caldwell really struggling. So Faller, Ida Ingemarsdotter go through. Denise Herrmann must wait in third place, and quite big gaps back to third and fourth. But Ratzinger getting the better of Böhler. So the third of the quarterfinals, Hannah Falk in here. She was the fastest of all today's early qualifiers in 3:32.76. Sandra Ringwald here, 13th in the sprint rankings this season. Hannah Falk, as you see, Stina Nielsen, the under-23 world points leader and the silver medalist from last year's World Championships. And Stina Nielsen, who was winning in Davos and also Planica. Hannah Falk here, 4th in Stockholm. That's her best of the season. And Anna Maria Lampitz of Slovenia, she's been out at the under-23 Worlds and 4th in the 10K Classic and 10th in the freestyle sprint. And you just also saw there Sadie Bjørnsen, 7th in Lenzerheide, her best of the season. And Ida Sargent wears number 28. So 8 closest to you there. Sadie Bjørnsen for the United States, Stina Nielsen in that sort of turquoise bib. And then in there for Germany, 3 away from you, Sandra Ringwald. Good start by all of them, which enables them to get a clean breakaway And it is Hannah Falk, the fastest in qualification, going ahead there with Sandra Ringwald for Germany, who seems very determined to get to this first little climb. Stina Nielsen, you can see, is the physically more dominating figure of the front three. In fact, the biggest of all the racers in physique terms in this quarterfinal, and 8 just behind Sadie Björnsson, tracking Stina Nielsen. So they swing right-handed and take this long drag up here. Nielsen and the two Swedes in here, Hannah Falk and Stina Nielsen, virtually together on the outside. You've got Sadie Björnsson. Now she wears 12, and Ida Sargent wears 28, and the Slovenian, that's Anna-Maria Lampitz on the far side in yellow and blue. So Stina Nielsen almost shoulder to shoulder with Sandra Ringwald, who's led pretty well the whole way here. Just having a little bit of argy-bargy going on there, and Stina Nielsen down, and she was off balance and effectively brought down Ida Sargent, and that's a big blow to Stina Nielsen. Thought she was going to survive, but Sandra Ringwald with 8 on her right-hand side there, your right-hand side, far side, Sadie Björnsson, and Hannah Falk there, the 1, 2, 3. And here trying to regain contact is Ida Sargent, but it's a forlorn hope. 4 away, and Ringwald just about in the lead, as she has been the whole way. Hannah Falk trying to push on here. Just about second, and then you've got Sadie Björnsson, and then Anna-Maria Lampitz in 4th place for Slovenia. And now you can see Nielsen getting back on in terms there. Going through. So Stina Nielsen up front there. Ringwald. Then 8th. That's Sadie Björnsson. And in fact, that collision, Hannah Falk and Ida Sargent, is the collision of Stina Nielsen now pushes on ahead of Sandra Ringwald. Apologies for the confusion there, but of course Stina Nielsen now looking for a 3rd victory, and the fastest time in the first quarterfinal, 3:32.9. So into the finish now. And this has been a bit of a rough journey. Sandra Ringwald still in 2nd place for Germany. Anna-Maria Lampitz of Slovenia trying to close along with Sadie Björnsson of the United States. But Stina Nielsen, Sandra Ringwald, Anna-Maria Lampitz moves into 3rd, but 3:36.4, and the slowest of the quarterfinals. Not surprising, really. But the two who go through, Ringwald and Nielsen.
And across the finish line now, number 28, Ida Sargent. There's a look at that fall if you're in around the big screen, or you're watching our webcast as well.
So, at the moment, definitely through. Jessica Diggins of the United States, as you see the finish here, Sandra Ringwald really pushing on, and actually at the end of the day just outspeeding Stina Nielsen, but I don't think Stina Nielsen will be too bothered about that. So Jessica Diggins, Ingvild Ersberg through, along with Micah Kaspersen Faller, and also Ida Ingmarsdotter. And then now Sandra Ringwald and Stina Nielsen joining them. 4th quarterfinal coming up, and the fastest in the next group of 6, Charlotte Kalla, 4th in the Tour de Ski this season. In white for Sweden, Ragnhild Haga, Jenny Öberg, Sheba Sheck, Lucy Anger. This is a very open affair. Krista Palmer-Koski, who was fourth in Drammen in the classic sprint for Finland, the slowest of these six. Jenny Öberg in picture there for Sweden. Sweden with a lot more representation in this freestyle sprint, representing Slovenia, Alenka Šebašek. And they're really going to have to move forward if they're thinking about the possibility of having to rely on a lucky loser position. Ragnhild Haga for Norway, of course. And Lucia Anger for Germany. Charlotte Kaller. Kaller at the moment in the World Cup rankings. Not really at the races. She's in fourth place, but when I tell you that she's got 968 points compared to Teresa Johaug's 225, but she's also over 500 points behind Heidi Weng, who's in third place in the overall World Cup ranking. So away we go. So Parmakoski on the near side in blue for Finland, immediately making her presence felt. Over on the far side, wearing 11. That's Charlotte Kaller, of course. 18, the Slovenian. Sorry, not 18. The Alenka Šebašek, 19 for Slovenia. 18 is Jenny Öberg for Sweden in the white. Also in the mix there, Lucia Anger. Lucia Anger for Oberstdorf in the pink hat over onto the far side, and now beginning to mark her presence here. Charlotte Kaller first up the climb there, turning that corner at about 116 just as a guide, and pushing on here. And Šebašek of Slovenia moving into second place. Parmakoski, Latinmaki as she was before getting married, she's in third place. Then Ragnhild Haga of Norway in the red race suit. And then behind her, you've got Jenny Öberg in white out to the right of your picture. And Germany, Lucia Anger in the pink hat now at the back of the sextet. So they skip round here, and yellow card for Hannah Falk. You saw that for obstruction during the quarterfinals, but of course it's a yellow card that shall carry right the way through to the end of the Tour of Canada. So it just puts a little more pressure on her, but Charlotte Kaller leading nicely here, Charlotte Kaller. It would be excellent to see her have a superb finish, but she's getting away, which is good news for her. Parmakoski pursuing her. Charlotte Kaller, now 28 years of age. Bronze medalist in the last World Championships last season. In fact, two of them in the 30-kilometer classic, the skiathlon, and of course a gold in Falun in the 10-kilometer free. It was an excellent season, but she's not really been able to threaten in the same way. Charlotte Kaller, big occasion racer, and you can see the two lucky losers, Korb and Karl, coming out of the first quarterfinal, which is still the quickest to date. And Charlotte Kaller has made this a real test of strength all the way through. Parmakoski definitely up to it as they go round the last right-hander there. Šebašek chasing in third place. Kaller staying ahead of Parmakoski, and 3:36, 3:37, and believe it or not, it gets slower by every quarterfinal. So still Hannah Kolb and Victoria Karl from the first quarter-final. The two German racers at the moment holding on to the lucky loser spot, which I guess will have worked its way through to the final quarter-final. Parmakoski taken on. Look at the run on Charlotte Caller's skis. She'll be well pleased with her servicemen. And she looks strong towards the finish here. So maybe the Tour of Canada is going to be a good finale for her to the season. Maybe her best part of the season, but needs to start well, and she's now into the semi-finals with the experienced Finn. The others, I'm afraid, are out of it. Their times are too slow, and we move on to what is a really competitive last quarter-final for the women. Astrid Jakobsen, the fastest of these six, but she is fifth in the rankings. Heidi Weng fourth in the sprint rankings, but Petra Novakova, she got a little bit sick before the under-23 Worlds, but she came back. She got a bronze medal in the 10-kilometer classic. And here, Vesna Fabian, who's also not produced the goods, the bronze medalist from Sochi, not this season, down outside the top 20. But here is the fifth best sprinter, Astrid Jakobsen, runner-up in Planitza in the freestyle sprint there, her best of the season. And Anne Kolonen, who was seventh in the Tour de Ski. And, of course, that excellent bronze medal in the Holmenkollen 30. And Heidi Weng, third in the Tour de Ski, fourth in the Sprint World Cup rankings at the moment, behind, just ahead of Astrid Jakobsen. So this is a strong race here for the Norwegians. Closest to you, Heidi Weng, two away from you, Astrid Jakobsen. And Astrid Jakobsen out of the starting gate with Vesna Fabian like a bullet. And it's Jakobsen and Vesna Fabian just on the near side. Heidi Weng going with them. And just behind Petra Novakova. So it's Jakobsen. Remember, a skiathlon world silver medalist last season in Falun. But she's really had a top season. The victory would be very well timed for her, and she's got a lot more confidence at the moment. And Heidi Weng keeping up with her, and so is Vesna Fabian. Interesting to see if we're going to see from Vesna a much improved performance. And she's done really nothing this year in terms of World Cup sprinting. Nothing to her ability, and that's quite quick. This is a quick quarter-final. Now, this is quicker than probably all the other previous quarter-finals we've seen. 1:13, 1:14 on that turn. And that leaves the two Finns at the back with a lot of work to do, because these Norwegians are really pressing on. Jakobsen with a great purpose, about to go out on the second rotation of this 850-meter loop, pursued by Heidi Weng, and then it is Vesna Fabian in there trying to maintain and keep on terms. Petra Novakova in the whitish race suit there for the Czech Republic in fourth place. Two Finns at the moment. Anne Kolonen wears 23, Niskanen wears 24. Kolonen seventh in the Tour de Ski, Kerttu Niskanen fifth in the Tour de Ski. Kolonen, the more established sprinter, wearing bib number 23, but at the moment she's right at the back of the pack, and they're struggling to deal with this Norwegian pace. Skis running well. Vesna Fabian, though, this is one of the better races. Petra Novakova with that confidence boost, a bronze medal in the 10-kilometer classic, fifth in the 10-kilometer free, just outside the top 20 in the freestyle sprint. It was a good series of races for her in Rasnov in Romania. But now you can see Vesna Fabian, who bided her time, and she's made the big move on that turn there. So the Olympic bronze medalist from Sochi finally starts to throw the gauntlet down to two top Norwegians. And what's going to happen as they come towards the finish of the race? They're coming into that big right-hander that swings them into the finishing straight. For there is Jakobsen. Behind is Heidi Weng on the far side. On the near side, it's Vesna Fabian, who's got the corner. Petra Novakova not out of it, but the Finns certainly are. Vesna Fabian being pursued and being chased down by Heidi Weng on the far side. Novakova going past that Jakobsen, and that is really close. 3:34. It isn't as quick as I imagined it would be. Fabian goes through by right, 3:34.2. It's a couple of seconds slower than the first quarter-final. But Heidi Weng, surely, she's on the far side. Novakova, that's almost a photo between those. Novakova and Jakobsen actually in a photo. Heidi Weng goes through by right with Vesna Fabian. And it's just a question of Novakova has got the call, and the developing young Czech has got a lucky loser spot there. So that means, by my reckoning, the other lucky loser spot, I'll confirm it in a moment. So the other lucky loser spot goes to Hanna Kolb. Well, straight over to the men's division. The journey is the same, the course is the same, and it's Sergei Ustygov who is the fastest of the 6 men, and Ustygov the third fastest in the qualifying in a time of 3:13.77. Petter Northug the fastest in 3:12.99, and Britain's Andrew Young 10th fastest in 3:16.29. So big hopes here for Andrew Young, but his turn will come a little later. And just waiting for the men to sort themselves out now. So Ustygov wears bib number 3, but this is Oscar Svensson. He's been to the under-23 Worlds. 4th in the sprint. Alex Harvey getting a huge cheer, particularly in this part of the world, French Canada, and Bernhard Tritcher for Austria. Not to be underestimated, Bernhard Tritcher. Haderstad, the Olympic champion, runner-up in Drammen and Stockholm this year. Ustygov wears bib number 3 for the Russians. He was the runner-up in Lenzerheide and Oberstdorf. So this is a pretty hot starting quarter-final. Bib number 12, closest to Bernie Tritcher, as they get away on the first of their 850-meter journeys under overcast skies now. And quickest away, Finn Hågen Krogh, who I didn't mention, but he was, of course, runner-up in Lahti, the last of our sprints. He was also previously 3rd in Lenzerheide. And the importance of Krogh is his position in the rankings. He's lying in 3rd place, 133 points behind Federico Pellegrino, and in 2nd place, Petter Northug, who's 97 points behind Pellegrino. But this Tour of Canada could change a lot here, and particularly the change of the Canmore sprint into a classic from a freestyle. That doesn't help Pellegrino, who's yet to get to terms with classic sprinting. And he didn't make, or didn't achieve the victory that he was aiming for in Lahti when he said that was the crucial race of his season. He really wanted to win it, he didn't, so he's under pressure. So Oscar Svensson fears nobody, the under-23 world 4th place sprinter. Just a week or so ago, he was 5th in the Junior Worlds last year as well, when the Classic was the discipline, so he's versatile at both codes, and he's being pursued there by Ustigov. These guys, you can see one or two of them wrapped up because it's beginning to chill down. The sun has disappeared, the afternoon's moving on, but Ustigov going up into the lead. Ustigov, he's a real strong 23-year-old. Ustigov, who was, of course, involved in the Tour de Ski, third best man in the Tour de Ski, won, of course, by Martin Jonsson, who has qualified for the quarterfinals. Finn Hågen Krogh in second place, Ustigov in third. So these guys know each other very well, and Ustigov pressing on here, looking to make this a real test of stamina as well as speed. So being challenged around that 2:38 on the final turn, and Ustigov away, being pressed by the Norwegians. You can see there Hadderstad breathing down the neck of Finn Hågen Krogh. It's getting busy towards the finish here. Look at this, Ustigov being taken on by Finn Hågen Krogh and Hadderstad, and they're all within a chance here. This is an amazing finish to this race, and Finn Hågen Krogh, Ustigov comes back again and lunges on the line to take it back from Krogh in a photo, I think. Hadderstad third. So interesting to see how this comes out there. A three-way photograph, in fact a four-way photograph with Alex Harvey involved as well. But certainly Ustigov, definitely, he's got one of the automatic places, and I think that Finn Hågen Krogh has got the other one as well. So then Finn Hågen on the far side. Ustigov just powers through. Doesn't really matter whether he's first or second. He's done what he needed to do, which was to qualify. Ooh, that's very close. He might have done it, actually. So just waiting for the result of this photograph. Now, Hadderstad third, Alex Harvey fourth. 3:11.15 is the time to note. So you can see there that inside 3:11.50, really both of the men in third and fourth place there, Hadderstad and Harvey, they may have chances. So the second quarter-final brings in the current leader of the sprint rankings, Federico Pellegrino. 4 freestyle wins so far. Where's the red bib? Eric Bransdal, who opened the season really well. Here he is. He was the runner-up in the classic sprint in Ruka. And then wearing 16, Theodor Pedersen, Olympic sprint silver medalist in Sochi. 5th in Ruka and Drammen this season. 13, Anssi Pensinen of Finland. Difficult to know where he might come into the mix here. 2 others for Poland. We've got Maciej Zarega, and also for Russia, Andrei Larkov. Those are the 2 outsiders, at least, on the clock. But this man, it's absolutely vital, because he thought he was coming to Canada for 3 freestyle sprints. Now he's in Canada, he's got 2 freestyle sprints and 1 classic to deal with. So that changes the complexion, particularly if you've got Peter Northug breathing down your neck. So Larkov, closest to you is Pellegrino. 2 away, Pensinen. Very even break. And Eric Bransdal in the red race suit for Norway, getting away quickest. He's a versatile racer, Bransdal, in as much that he can lead, but he can also wait. And Bransdal it is who's getting away here. French have got really good representation in the quarterfinals to come as well. 20, that's Starego of Poland going into the lead. Eric Bransdal, who in championships recently has been a little bit disappointing. He was 9th only in Sochi, 11th only in Falun last year. And he's actually never won a sprint medal at a major championship. He always seems to start the season in really good form. He was the 3rd place finisher in Drammen this season, 6th in Lahti. And he's right in the heart of that. Pellegrino over on the far side, white hat, little bobble. Near side for Sweden, Theodor Pedersen. Just about in 4th place now. So Bransdal dropping back. Not surprising, he'll look to counter-attack, and the Russian Larkov right at the back of the field. So they come back into the stadium complex. Well, I think this is an interesting move here by Pensinen. Maybe it'll pay off. Difficult to tell at this moment in time. The 29-year-old from Jyväskylä. Again, no championship medals in his career so far. This year, in sprinting terms, 9th in Oberstdorf in the classic sprint, part of the Tour de Ski. Just about his best of the season so far. Never finished on a World Cup sprint podium, but he's put himself out there, so he's got a big target on his back, and Pellegrino is stalking him. And then up into 3rd place, Bransdal, again overtaking Starega, who's dropped back to 4th place. And so now looking for a position up this climb here. Pellegrino on the inside, being pursued by Theodor Pedersen. That is the sharp line, the shortest distance. Bransdal on the outside. Those three pushing away from the Finn, from the pole. And Pellegrino, as he has done on a number of occasions, going a good, 200 meters from home here, and being pursued by Pedersen. 3:11.15 the time for the first quarter final, and Theodor Pedersen coming up on his inside. Right behind him there is Erik Bransdal. He hasn't got the pace, the Norwegian, and it's Pellegrino and Pedersen 1-2. 3:13, so slower. So that means that Harstad and Harvey still have some hopes of being lucky losers. But a very determined push here. You can see this is where he makes his move, and it's a fair way out, but he's confident. And this is where he has to see it through. Theodor Pedersen, not a bad finish there, but Bransdal lacking finishing speed. Bransdal, I think, would prefer an even tougher course than this one. But this one has not got so much terrain, it's just got distance. And there you can see in the background there a little bit of Gatineau. This Canadian city, our hosts. So Gatineau, located on the northern bank of the Ottawa River, across from Ottawa, which it forms or part of Canada's national capital. So on to the next quarter-final, and Anders Gløsen. Well, he can be a danger, as he showed in the Olympics in Sochi. He was 4th there. Got a bronze in the World Championships last year, but that was over 15,000 meters. Now Simeon Hamilton, fastest of these 6, and a runner-up in Toblach, part of the Tour de Ski. Polteranin, he was the 5th man in the Tour de Ski overall, the highest placed in the Tour de Ski of these 6. Baptiste Gros, who wasn't able to take part in Lahti, he was under the weather, he was sick. But remember, he was the runner-up in Davos and Planica, and Matthias Strandvald of Finland completing the 6th. Gros, Baptiste Gros of France, the highest in the World Cup rankings here. Baptiste Gros in 5th place, but the other man I didn't mention wears bib number 4, Emil Iversen. He's really in top form, the winner of the last sprint in Lahti, representing Norway, of course. So Norway in here with Anders Glørsen and Iversen. Iversen wears 4, Glørsen 23, 2 going up there. Simeon Hamilton, 4 starting fast. Emil Iversen getting up there. Iversen, who showed tremendous strength in the finish in Lahti. And it really was a lesson. That was his second sprint win of the campaign. And Iversen moving on strongly, impressively. Baptiste Gros in second place. The 25-year-old Frenchman from Poissy. Iversen just a year younger. Ranked 13th in the overall World Cup this season, Iversen. It's the breakthrough season for him, that's for sure. Polteranin in there, 24. That's Polteranin. Not to be confused with the Frenchman. They've got quite similar suits. Baptiste Gros, 19 on the far side there. But Iversen making this tough, making it really tough. Simeon Hamilton for the USA just moving up on the inside there into third place. Good racecraft there. But Iversen just pressing on. And he's trying to make every skate step a winning one here. I'm just looking at Baptiste Gros. I wonder how fit he is after being laid low. He was tremendous in Davos and particularly Planita, where he seemed to have lots of extra gears. So now this crucial climb here. Still Iversen leading, as he pretty well has done all the way. Matthias Transvaal being chased there on the far side by Baptiste Gros. Also Simeon Hamilton, good line, second place. Polteranin trying to squeeze through on the inside. And Glørsen at the moment struggling at the back for Norway. But Hamilton had a good line in there. He's in second place for the United States, but Iversen just powers on here. Has a cheeky little look round here as it comes round the right-hander into the finishing straight. 75 meters, puts the power in on the far side. Simeon Hamilton looking to try and get the victory, but Iversen does it impressively. 3:13.7. So slower than the 3:12.88 of Pellegrino, or indeed the 3:11 from the first quarter-final, which was Ustegov. But this was the decisive point. You could see there, 21. Strandval got sideways there and wasn't sure whether it was an unenforced error or whether someone was actually on his ski pole, which caused the problem. But Iversen was never in trouble there. Impressive. So 3:13.73. So Baptiste Gros and Matthias Transvaal hoping that they might get a lucky loser spot. But at the moment, I'm thinking that Bernard Tritcher and Alex Harvey of Canada still have a real chance of going through. And now Petter Northug, the man who lies second in the Wiesmann sprint rankings for the World Cup cross country, fastest of these, and here's Andrew Young, tall, strong, 10th fastest in qualification, and of course that excellent podium in Toblach earlier in the season. He hasn't had all his own way. There have been some issues. I think not always has he had maybe the best prepared equipment, but that happens to lots of skiers. But let's hope that this is his day here. And how he's going to handle the distance, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Knut Jonsgaard representing Canada. And last year he was in the under-23 Worlds. Peter Northug now, fastest qualifier, winner in Drammen, 3 times third, world champion in classic sprint. Renard Jay, 4th in Planitza, his best of the season for France. So, unfortunately, I don't think Baptiste Gros is going to make it into the semi-finals, but Peter Northug on the near side, powerfully away. And there is a sense of determination. He doesn't have Alpe Semis to climb at the end of this tour. And therefore, for me, that makes him a major player. 27, Eric Bjornsson for the United States on his shoulder. And shadowing Bjornsson, wearing 30, is Renard Jay for France. So Simeon Hamilton through in the previous quarterfinal for the United States. It'd be excellent if they could get another man through, but it's really difficult to be out in front here and to set yourself up as a target. The Frenchman on the outside. The man who's at the back there, 29, is Knut Jonsgaard in that sort of Canadian red. Well, he'll do well to perhaps join Alex Harvey. That isn't definite. 109, 110. And Peter Northug, confident leading, has a little look under his right armpit, sees Renard Jay right behind him there. Andrew Young at the back, and Andrew Young still okay. They get the bell for the second left. And now Andrew, this is where he needs to use the track calf and use his power to get up there, keep himself out of trouble, and he's moved up into 3rd place there. And he's following Renard Jay. Up front, it's Peter Northug, and Andrew Young knows him well enough. He's part of the Huntley Ski Club, but also has a home in Trondheim. Competes against the nationals like Andrew Musgrave, who was just under 9 seconds off qualifying for the top 30, but hopefully we'll see Andrew Musgrave in some of the distance races to good performance. And it's Norway at the moment ahead of France, then Finland, then Andrew Young. Really needs to get moving now. He's got to use this climb now. He's got to use his power. He's now out of it. He's coming over onto this near side. That's not a bad line, but he's got to move up now. And let's see how well his skis are going to run here. But Peter Northug is mighty impressive. He's set a huge pace, and Andrew Young is only 4th at the moment. Hadderstad and Alex Harvey are the current lucky loser men. As Northug powers on here, Renard Jay, and Andrew Young in 4th place. He's behind Martti Ulai of Finland, and he's not really getting to them. They're coming round into the finish straight now, and he's going to have to put in a superb burst. Peter Northug wins it, but unfortunately only 4th place, and 3:15.1 is not going to work for Andrew Young. Disappointment, but excellent from Northug. What do you say? Real class there from Northug. Renard Jay in a photo with Martti Ulai of Finland for the 2nd spot by right into the final. Northug looks as if he means business here. 3:13.82. So just looking for this photo to get sorted out. Andrew Young will continue in the Tour of Canada, of course, and he'll be focusing particularly on those sprints. Renard Jay in their point. Look at that, 100th faster than Martti Ulai. And so Peter Northug by right, and the Frenchman Renarget going through. And so to the last of the men's quarterfinals, and Martin Jonsrud-Sundby, the World Cup Tour leader. But we start with the Swiss, Jovian Hediger, top 20 in the rankings of the World Cup sprinters. 22, Sebastian Eisenlauer, who lies 12th in the sprint rankings. Just making sure that they haven't got any snow underneath on their shoes. Nicolas Durhaug, better known on the endurance distances, he was 8th in the Tour de Ski. And Francesco De Fabiani, who in Falun quite recently proved with his second place in the 15-kilometer freestyle race that he can run freestyle as well as classic. And Martin Jonsrud-Sundby, well, he was 4th in Lenzerheide and Oberstdorf during the Tour de Ski, so he's no back number. And another Frenchman, this is Richard Jouvet, and Richard, another man who could possibly squeeze into the final. So closest to you is the World Cup leader. And of course, Martin Jonsrud-Sundby looking good to yet win another overall seasonal World Cup. Well, Sundby out strongly. Joseph Hediger also well to the fore. Sundby, who won the overall title in 2014 and 2015 and leads at the moment, looking to complete the hat-trick of season-long Wiesmann World Cup Crystal Globes and to take that back, but to win the Tour de Ski and win the Tour of Canada in one season, that would be really something. It'll be all different next year with the Nordic Ski World Championships in Lahti and the build-up, the long build-up towards South Korea and the Olympics in 2018, and it's Norway 1, Norway 2 at the moment. And that's Sundby and Durhaug, and they're going to make this tough. So let's see what sort of time as they come up here to the turn. Well, that's not bad. Hediger in second place in that dark black race suit for Switzerland, just getting ahead of Durhaug. Hediger, the more established sprinter, and just a little wobble on the far side there. Little bit of bumping there between Durhaug and Richard Jouvet, but no harm done. At the back for Germany, Sebastian Eisenlauer wearing 22. Through the stadium, one more rotation here, and the Norwegians now back to 1 and 2. And Sundby, where's he going to do? Where's he going to cross over? You see now, look at the acceleration he loves. He hasn't got much terrain to work with, but that little bit of climb there, he really used it to his profit. Richard Jouvet right behind him. Sticking to him like glue, the Frenchman, the 21-year-old from Val des Prés. 5th in the under-23 sprint worlds just recently in Romania. So he comes here with a decent race under his belt, and right at the back there, Francesco De Fabiani finding this difficult, the under-23 World Cup leader. But there goes the young Frenchman, the 21-year-old, ahead of Martin Jonsrud-Sundby, and suddenly Sebastian Eisenlauer on the far side for Germany has lit up there ahead of Joseph Hediger, I should say, of Switzerland. And it's France, Norway, Germany, Switzerland, and then you've got Durhaug for Norway wearing 14, and Italy right at the back there, De Fabiani. And so Richard Jouvet trying to get home in front here, being pressed on the far side there by Jonsrud-Sundby. Eisenlauer, though, going for the second automatic place and gets it. That's a great piece of skiing, tactical skiing by Eisenlauer and Jouvet. They kept their powder dry until it really mattered. And Sundby will be eliminated. He won't make the semi-finals, but a little bit like Marie-Thérèse Johaug in the women's quarter-finals, he'll pick up a few points. So there as they cross the line. The point system here, of course, the time is all important as you see confirmation, but it's worth remembering that, of course, there is a bonus in terms of time deduction for the outright winner. So momentarily we'll be going back to the women's semi-finals. Yes, the winner of today gets 60 seconds bonus, the second place 56 seconds, etc., etc. And so to the first of the semi-finals for the women. So Micah Kaspersen-Faller, the dominant woman in women's sprinting at the moment for Norway. And she's got her teammate Ingvild Flugstad Ørsberg with her. Ørsberg, of course, lying second in the World Cup rankings. Jess Diggins, who was in that first quarter-final with Ørsberg in this one as well. And the tall figure of the Swede. Runner-up in Lenzerheide, no victory so far this season, but not that far away. Sandra Ringwald, who's something of a terrier in sprint racing. And as you can see from her expression, they're well up for this competition. And Petra Novakova, who got through as the fastest loser, and Petra comes here with an under-23 bronze World Championship medal, so full of confidence. So Sandra Ringwald, where's 7? She's closest to you. And started holding them for a moment, not sure why that is. The rules are exactly the same if you're just joining us. First 2 across the line will go to the final, and then we're looking for 2 lucky losers out of the 2 semi-finals to join them. Under starters' orders, first semi-final, and away we go on this 1,700-meter journey. Strong start by Micah Kaspersen-Faller, likewise for Ørsberg wearing 3, both of them wearing red, white headbands, but Sandra Ringwald, as she did in the quarter-final, has really put herself up in the van there, being pursued by Jess Diggins on the far side in that dark blue race suit for the United States of America, and 3 into the lead, Ørsberg. Question with Ørsberg we always ask is, can she last it out? 3 times a runner-up, 3 times third in World Cup sprints, and Ida Ingmarsdotter for Sweden up there in second place at the moment. Ida, now 30 years of age, from Östersund, just on the right of your screen there, tracking Ørsberg. Faller on the right side, on the far side. Look at the time there, 1:15, 1:16. This is an energy-sapping journey. It'll give us a... Oh, and Jess Diggins there, almost losing control and balance. Novakova at the back at the moment, the young Czech. But she's one of the brightest prospects the Czechs have had for a while now in women's cross-country skiing, and it's the 2 standout Norwegian sprinters. Ørsberg, of course, runner-up also in the Tour de Ski to Therese Johaug, a fantastic performance. and also a lifetime best in Oslo in the 30-kilometer classic. But now Fowler, who is the sprint specialist, the Olympic champion, going ahead there. Ingmarsdottir not out of this. She was a world silver medalist, you might remember, in Val di Fiemme, and 5th in the Olympics, so she's no back number by any means, and not out of this. So Jess Diggins moving up there. That personal best in Lahti just a week or so ago. That will have given her great heart to have won a distance race and to be runner-up in the sprint. Sandra Ringwald at the moment finding this pace hard to live with. Fowler in the red bib, but Diggins now making her strength tell. And look at the Minnesotan go here, coming up the hill. Get another time check here, 2:55, 2:56 on the turn, and Diggins wants to be first on the downslope to let her skis run. So it's the United States from Norway, then Sweden, then Norway. Østberg back into 4th place. And then you've got Sandra Ringwald and Petra Novikova can't live with this now. Jess Diggins, what's Fowler going to do here? Is she going to use some energy just to show that Jess Diggins, you're not going to have it all your own way? Here goes Fowler. She lifts up that sprint, but Jess Diggins is pretty strong and, well, just stands tall there for the photo. But Diggins and Fowler shoulder to shoulder across the line. No doubt about that. Fowler did have a little go at Diggins, but did she get the better of her? If she did, it's probably because Jess stood tall right at the last step of the race. There's the Norwegian on the far side. Whoa, Fowler might have got there, but there's nothing between them. Look at the boot. Yeah, Fowler by, what, half a boot length. But remember, Jess Diggins stood up. She knew she'd done her job. And she's into her 2nd successive final. So 3:33.86. And basically half a second. Well, it's going to take it into 3:34, 20s and 30s for the Swede. So, Østberg, Norway, Ingmarsdottir, well, they're going to have to hope that this is the faster of the 2 semi-finals, and it might well be. It might well be. So the 2nd semi-final, and we go from Fowler to Kalla, and it's Kalla for Sweden in here. Vesna Fabian, rejuvenated, so it would seem, Olympic bronze medalist, and then Stina Nielsen, a bumpy old ride in the quarterfinals for the under-23 points leader. Here she is, Stina Nielsen, twice a winner this season. And then Heidi Weng, really tough, really consistent, the 4th best sprinter of the World Cup season so far. Vesna Fabian looking a lot more like her old self, I have to say. So Vesna, and then 22, Krista Palmakoski, also tough, fighting athlete who really digs in. Vesna Fabian, I'll come back to her in a second. 11 there, Charlotte Kalla of Sweden. Actually looking to me really sprightly. Be very interesting to see what she can do. And Hannah Kolb of Germany. Kolb with that yellow card. Needs to be mindful of that. So Vesna Fabian, 30 years of age, 7th in Planica in the yellow and the blue. Starting strongly with Stina Nielsen of Sweden. Also up there for Sweden is Charlotte Kalla. And struggling at the, well, I said up there, and suddenly Charlotte Kalla loses The chance really, it's early in the race, but I can't see her getting back on this. So Stina Nielsen, she ain't going to slow this down. They'll be aware that the first semi-final was pretty quick, and Kalle surely can't close that sort of gap. So Stina Nielsen it is who's up front here. What a pity. Second place there to Germany's Hannah Kolb. Well, she's working her way up here. Kalle's getting a little closer. Stina Nielsen. Now remember, they were at this turn by 1:15. This is slower, and that's why Kalle's got back into it. Believe it or not, she's now on the tails of... Oh, and now she's got a chance, Kalle. So Hannah Kolb of Germany goes down there, and Parmakoski as well, a victim of that coming together, and suddenly the complexion of the race changes. So look at this, Stina Nielsen there from Vesna Fabian, but remember they've got another rotation to go. And then you've got Heidi Weng and you've got Charlotte Kalle, who must have used, of course, a lot of energy in trying to close up. But could she possibly get back and qualify for the final? Now she's right on their tails, recovering now, just coming out shoulder to shoulder. She's got a good lineup here now, has Charlotte Kalle. She's been under pressure there. Heidi Weng on the far side in the red there. Vesna Fabian in the yellow and blue. And Stina Nielsen for this race out of trouble now. Kalle's got to make a judgment call here. At the moment, she's in fourth place. Stina Nielsen's ski's going really well. Charlotte Kalle's beginning to run on this downhill. Okay, she's having to circle round Heidi Weng. And again, Kalle off balance, almost loses it in her eagerness to try and get on terms. Stina Nielsen here being challenged on the far side there by Heidi Weng. And this is still slower than the first semi-final. So that could be good news for Ida Ingmarsdotter and Ingvild Ørsberg. There you have them. They are the current lucky loser favourites, shall we say. And Kalle, despite recovering, I'm afraid lost control yet again. And you can see Vesna Fabian having come through here ahead of Kalle into third place. But it's the Norwegian Heidi Weng who's trying to challenge Stina Nielsen, but it's been virtually gun to tape for the Swede, and they just both ease off there. Stina Nielsen and Heidi Weng go into the final, 3:39. It's way slower than the first semi-final, and I'm pretty confident that Ida Ingmarsdotter and Ingvild Ørsberg are into the Gatineau final. Men's semi-finals coming up here. Now look at Kalle, goes down, really bad luck there. Was perhaps just a little too close. That became uncertain, and then you have this second coming together of Parmakoski and Hannah Kolb, and that took them out. And Heidi Weng strong at the end of her races, as she has been throughout the season, coming past Vesna Fabian to eliminate the Olympic bronze medalist from the final. So Stina Nielsen, Heidi Weng, Maika Kaspersen-Faller, Jessica Diggins, Ida Ingemarsdotter and Ingvild Ørsberg, they will be your finalists in Gatineau for the final chapter of the women's freestyle sprint. So it'll be on to the men's semi-finals next now.
1er mars 2020, première étape du ski tour Canada. Et on a à l'écran notamment la composition de cette première vague de demi-finale.
Well, this is fascinating. Look at the lineup for this first semi-final. I mean, this is absolutely punishing. Finn Hågen Krogh. This is the toughest of the two semi-finals. The runner-up in the Tour de Ski, Sergei Ustugov, third in the Tour de Ski. He's in this one as well. And then Emil Iversen, who looks at the moment to be almost unstoppable. And not only have you got those three, you've got Theodor Pedersen. Pedersen, of course, the Olympic silver bronze medalist. And then you've got Pellegrino. And this is a really tough call with only the first two by right. So this has got to be fast. They all know they can't muck around here. And 15, Alex Harvey for Canada, the lone Canadian. But Alex really up against it in this heat. If he gets into the final, that will be a mini triumph for him. So the four-time freestyle sprint winner of the season, Pellegrino, will be closest to you as you see them from the off. Alex Harvey over on the far side. Two away from you, Emil Iversen on the left of your picture. Pellegrino smoothly away, Ustugov just about third at the moment. And Theodor Pedersen not looking comfortable at all as he made his start. He's settled in now, Alex Harvey at the back. And so it's Finn Hågen Krogh who's gone on early here, ahead of Pellegrino. Ustugov trying to sort out his poles at the moment. And really struggling at the moment. You can see there, he's got the wrong size of pole from the broken pole. He's got another one now, and he's got to get his hand inside that strap, but it's really hampered him. But it's happened early enough in the race. He's dropped back to last place, but he's probably just trying to sort himself out now. So Norway, Italy, Norway, the 1, 2, 3. And then Sweden, and then Canada, and then Russia. And Finn Hågen Krogh pushing on, the third best sprinter of the season. Coming up here, 1:10, 1:09 on the turn, let's say. Being pursued by Emil Iversen, he wears 4. Just about in third place. Theodor Pedersen not far away. Pellegrino still lying second. Harvey in 5th place. And lurking at the back there, Ustugov. Wouldn't write him off yet, as they come back into the stadium to go out onto their second rotation. And 5, and Finn Hågen Krogh has a little look there. Ustugov comes right up from the back there on that flat section, really using Russian power. So Ustugov up into the front, bided his time, didn't panic. That's extremely good skiing by Ustugov. So he's up front, the Russian, very determined, and he wants to be the star of the Nordic Worlds next year and the Olympics in 2018 for his country. Ustugov, who was a 3-time junior world champion, including the freestyle sprint champion some 4 years ago, and also was the under-23 sprint champion of the world. That was in 2014 in Lago di Tesoro in Predazzo. So he's got some credit and reputation here. And 5 coming up there. Krogh on his inside, Theodor Pedersen. And then there's a charge on there. Iversen with Alex Harvey right beside him. Pellegrino, the Sprint World Cup leader, in trouble at the back there, losing position. He's going to have to go round everybody. Pellegrino, has he got the gears to do it? Ustugov from the front, Iversen on the far side, really blocking Pellegrino. Not intentionally, it's just the track craft, and it's Ustugov and the 2 Norwegians, Finn Hågen Krogh, and coming on the near side there, Theodor Pedersen for Sweden. But it is, at the end of the day, Krogh and Ustugov in a photo. Pedersen third, the time 3:14.4. Well, 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 this is going to be fascinating. You can see Pellegrino. I wonder whether the second semi-final is going to be quite as quick. It might be more tactical with Petter Northug in it. But there are two Frenchmen who are going to cause some troubles, possibly to Northug. But there you can see Ustigov and Krog. And Krog, I think, will get the decision on the far side by a centimetre or two, or millimetre, ahead of the Russian, but no matter. So there it is, 3:14.13. Ustigov with the same time. Pedersen, Iversen must wait. So that's the situation. Who's going to join them, though? Coming up, the second of the men's semi-finals. For Norway, Petter Northug, the world champion. Olav Vigga Hatterstad, the Olympic champion, both for Norway, of course. Richard Juvet for France, as well as Renard J. Simeon Hamilton for the United States. And Sebastian Eisenlau, who's tactically very clever to qualify in the quarterfinals. Bided his time, came late, got the job done. So, Simeon Hamilton, runner-up in Toblach. So knocking on the door once this season, Sebastian Eisenlau. I suppose now we have to say this man is 12th in the sprint rankings to be watched. 28, Richard Juvet. And he's got Renard J in as well. 4th in Planitza, Renard J. They're hunting the podium. They've lost Baptiste Gros, who may not have fully physically recovered from the nasty cold he had, which ruled him out of Lahti, and Petter Northug, who looks, even at this early stage, that he's really come here with some determination for this Tour of Canada. After Gatineau, we go to Montreal and then to Quebec City for stages 3 and 4. The classic sprint in Canmore when we travel from east to west, the skiathlon over there, and the finale, the classic pursuit as well. So away they go, and Petter Northug wearing number 1, fastest qualifier earlier in the day. Eisenlau, different tactics this time, going up early. To Simeon Hamilton on the far side, and now moving up there, Olav Vigga Hatterstad. Probably pretty aware, Hatterstad, that he needs to keep quite close to the pace here. Frenchmen at the back for the moment, biding their time. So the two Norwegians, the world champion, the Olympic champion, shoulder to shoulder, underlining the Norwegian talent in this particular discipline. So Hatterstad deciding that he wants to lead here. Northug staying in second place. Remember when they came up this hill on the approach to that left-hand turn, we were looking about 109. So is this faster or slower? This will be of interest to Pedersen and Iversen from the first semi-final. Ooh, it looks, well, it's maybe a tad slower, but not much. And Hatterstad pushing on, of course, has got a 2 or 3 metre advantage over Northug. Renard J. He wears 30, Richard Juvet wears 28. The Frenchman surely going to get involved in this, but Hatterstad moving on. Northug looks comfortable, looking around a little bit, Northug, to decide when to play his cards. Simeon Hamilton on the far side, Renard J, the most forward of the two Frenchmen. Juvet, and now at the back there, that's Eisenlau. But is he just conserving his energy? You can see he's a worrying few meters off the pace. So Hatterstad with this very solid strength, but into second place there. Richard Juvet for France ahead of Peter Northug. And then after that, you've got Renard J for France. So it's France and Norway at the moment. Simeon Hamilton, Eisenhower looking as if he hasn't got anything else to give. And now they come up here, and this is where Northug is decisive. He decides that he's got the power and he's got the pace. And Hamilton just about into third place, or is he? Having a little argy-bargy there with Hudderstad. He gets there. Hudderstad demoted to fourth place as they come round to the business end of this race here. And Simeon Hamilton getting eclipsed there. He had a look around instead of focusing. And Peter Northug skips round the corner ahead of Richard Juvet of France. On the far side there, Simeon Hamilton looking for second place. Peter Northug powers on. This is impressive. Frenchman gets there in second place, 3:13.7. And in fact, it's turned out to be the faster of the two semi-finals. So it's faster by, what would that be, 5, 6, getting on for 3/4 of a second quicker. And that's really down to Hudderstad for all the hard work he did early on. So Northug and Juvet are through. Now, who gets the lucky loser spots here? Simeon Hamilton and Ola Vigan Hudderstad have got the lucky loser spot. Bad luck to Theodore Pedersen and the Lahti winner Emil Iversen. Pellegrino, no final for him. Alex Harvey in sixth place in the first semi. But it's Krog, Ustegov, Northug and Juvet, Hamilton and Hudderstad. So Norway, Russia, Norway with 3 representatives in the men's final, as you can see now. A quick break and then we'll be focusing on the women's final. Well, if you're just joining us, I'm David Goldstrom. We're in Canada for the opening stage of the Tour of Canada, a journey from east to west over the space of 12 days. Visiting iconic ski destinations in Canada, starting right here in Gatineau, across the river from Ottawa, then to Montreal and Quebec City, and then when we go into week 2, across the Rocky Mountains into Canmore, which of course was the host for the 1988 Nordic ski cross-country races. So a really great final to come. Remember that all these races count together in terms of the accumulative time, and that the winner of this race will get a 60-second bonus, which will be deducted from their time before they start to add on to the times achieved in the second leg of this journey. Sunshine and a really chilly -18 earlier today, -5, 6 when we started, but chilling down all the time. This, the first of 3 sprints, the Canmore sprint, which was originally going to be in freestyle, that's been converted to classic, arguably to balance up because there were far more freestyle sprints in the overall season. And so the women getting ready for this final, and here is the lineup. So the Olympic champion tops the graphic there, the world silver medalist in second place in the order as you see them. Jess Diggins, a personal best in Lahti in sprinting. Heidi Weng, who is right there in the Sprint World Cup rankings, but also in the overall. Østberg vying with Teresa Johaug for the overall title, as we see the under-23 world points leader Stina Nielsen. Growing in confidence, growing in stature. To Jess Diggins. Well, you could say similar things about Jess as well. Her confidence is sky high, and she flies the flag for America. Micah Kaspersen-Faller, the World Cup leader, of course, Faller. And today looking for win number 7 out of the 8 sprints she's entered into so far this season. This has been her real focus. And Heidi Weng, the 4th best sprinter of the season, 3rd in the Tour de Ski. Ersberg in here, 2nd in the Tour de Ski. Theresa Johaug went out earlier, but this is some findable. Sandra Ringwald, she tried hard to get into this final, but here we go, the final of the women's freestyle sprint in Gatineau, Canada. So 3 Norwegians, 2 Swedes and an American to fight out this women's final. And it's the 23-year-old star, Stina Nielsen, who not for the first time gets out quickly. Micah Kaspersen-Faller following. Jess Diggins in the dark blue race suit there for the United States. So Sweden, USA, Norway, Ersberg wears 3 white headbands on the right-hand side of your screen. 5 there. Ida Ingmarsdotter, runner-up this season, but yet to win. And, of course, Heidi Weng in there, just biding her time. She has tremendous strength towards the end of her races. But will she have the speed? And Ida Ingmarsdotter looking a little bit out of it at the back there. She was not particularly impressive in cornering there. Looking a little bit off balance and uncomfortable. Coming up this hill now. So Stina Nielsen, this is where she likes to be. Down in front, Kaspersen-Faller following her. Jess Diggins in 3rd place. Ersberg not far behind, and Heidi Weng. And Ida struggling at the back there. Disappointed for her, but she's out of this. She's really in trouble. Trying to close up now. Stina Nielsen, 22 years of age, from Torsby. World silver medalist in Falun in classic sprinting style. That was last season, but Stina Nielsen, a winner this year in Davos at altitude and Planica in freestyle mode. Kaspersen-Faller on the right of your screen. 13, that's Heidi Weng on the near side, following Kaspersen-Faller. And Ersberg at the back of the field. Is she running out of gas as Ida Ingmarsdotter finds something to move into 5th place? Jess Diggins, who did a lot of work early on now, is she paying for all of those exertions? But Stina Nielsen really toughing it out at the front there, ahead of the Olympic champion. Heidi Weng predictably coming into, she's tactically such a good racer, Heidi Weng. Ersberg trying to keep herself on with a chance, or in with a chance, on the far side, on the inside there, as they come up the hill. Now this is crucial now for position. Stina Nielsen and Micah Kaspersen-Faller's got the first run. Jess Diggins in 3rd place there, vying with Ersberg. Tried to keep a little petrol in her tank. Heidi Weng drops back to 5th place. Ingmarsdotter at the back of the field. Kaspersen-Faller getting away from Nielsen. Then Jess Diggins. But is it all over? Is it another win for Kaspersen-Faller? Is the 7th win beckoning now? Stina Nielsen in 2nd place. On the far side, Jess Diggins trying to get into it. Ersberg, they come round. Ersberg on the near side there. Had a good line, but Micah Kaspersen-Faller coming away. Diggins and Stina Nielsen. Stina Nielsen proves the stronger, but Diggins is on the podium for the 2nd successive final. But Micah Kaspersen-Faller makes it 7 victories out of 8 for the 2016 Wiesmann World Cup sprint season. And Diggins disappointed, I guess, not to get 2nd, but not disappointed in the sense that she's on the podium yet again.
Fantastic. And so
So Kaspersen Falla, this is the reward for being so focused on one thing.
Wow, what a day.
She is a racer that can do distances. We've seen that this season. But she wins stage 1 of the Tour of Canada. The 25-year-old wearing the red bib from Lillehammer. Bronze medalist at the Worlds last year behind Stina Nielsen, but ahead of her on this day. And Jess Diggins as happy as anyone, because she is the North American, or indeed the American, who's on this Canadian podium. Now you can see the final move here. Kaspersen Falla revs it up there ahead of Stina Nielsen, wants to get into the turn first, moves up there, proves the power, gets first run on the entire field. Stina Nielsen struggling a little bit, but she composes herself, holds it together, and at the end of the day counter-attacks on Diggins to take 80 World Cup points. Well, let me just correct that. It's not quite 80 World Cup points. It's Tour de Canada, so it's 50 and 40 for first and second. But 3 very happy ladies, and hopefully we can hear from Maika Kaspersen Falla and what she thinks about the rest of the Tour of Canada in terms of her chances. So Maika, there she is. As I said, she can do distances. She did, or she achieved a 12th place finish in the 5-kilometer classic in Falun, and she is accomplished in both codes. So
you continue to increase your lead in the sprint and the overall, and you're also the tour leader here at the tour. How was the start here in Gatineau for you?
Oh, it's so good getting started with the tour. We've been staying here in Gatineau since Wednesday, and it was a long trip here, so yeah, finally we have started, and that's really fun.
And a tight course, lots of corners here today. You made a great move up that final climb that was always a tactic. It paid perfect.
I tried to use my my speed, and I really succeeded today, so I'm really happy.
All right, congratulations on the victory and being the Ski Tour Canada leader.
Thank you so much.
Next stop on the tour for the women will be the Mass Start Classic, and then it's on to Quebec for another sprint and a freestyle pursuit before we travel to the Rockies. So great start there for Maika Kaspersen Falla, but of course the men's final still to come. Well, just the men's final to go here, but a fantastic opportunity for Petter Northug, who lies second in the Sprint World Cup standings before this day began, to really close up on Federico Pellegrino, for whom the recent sprints have not gone well. He finished a disappointing 4th in Lahti, you might remember, and now eliminated in the semi-finals. Pellegrino only 5th in the first semi-final, so that's really going to knock him down in terms of points. And you can see that also Finn Krogh, who was in 3rd place, he was 133 points behind Pellegrino before the start of the day. Petter Northug 97. They're both going to gain, as you see the imposing figure of Sergei Ustugov representing Russia. So this the lineup. 3 Norwegians in there again. Ustugov for Russia, Richard Juvet for France, and also Simeon Hamilton for the United States. So this is going to be very, very intense. Now, Petter Northug, if he wants to win the Tour of Canada, he wants to get off to a good start. A good start will not only mean points, but it'll be that 60-second deduction that the winner gets, 56 seconds to the runner-up deducted, and those all count as they did in the Tour de Ski. And so this crowd seems to have enjoyed the racing here in the Jacques Cartier Park. Jacques Cartier, I think he was a 15th century French explorer who came over here, and at one point, as I mentioned right at the beginning of this race, was actually a man who claimed Canada for the French, but of course that all changed ultimately. So they've been really good hosts here. So Gatineau, right opposite Ottawa, the national capital. So down to business now for this men's final.
Wearing number 3,
So Ustugov, look how well these guys are wrapped up here. It is chilly. 1,700 meters, Ustugov, an under 23 and junior world sprint champion in his time. 8th in the sprint world rankings. Richard Jouvet for France. Really good opportunity for him. Now he's in this final. Wearing 2, Simeon Hamilton. He's knocked on the door in Toblach, where he was the runner-up this season. So I guess all the North American support will go for him. The man who can psych out just about anybody, Petter Northug, looking, I have to say, looking really confident. And Hadderstad did a lot of donkey work in the semi-final, but he got his reward because as a result of the fast pace that he set, he ultimately got a lucky loser space, a lucky loser pass into the final. Away at the first time of asking. So it'll be very interesting here. There's some talented racers. And Richard Jouvet tucks into second place behind Petter Northug. Richard Jouvet, who was 3rd in Planica, his best ever, well, equaled his best ever sprint win, or sprint performance, I should say, because he was 3rd in 2015, Lahti, in the freestyle sprint there. So hoping that maybe he can go at least one place, if not 2 places better today. So 5, Finn Hågen Krogh, in fact it is, who leads there ahead of Jouvet. Then Petter Northug in first place, then Hadderstad, and lurking at the back there behind Simeon Hamilton is Ustugov. But as we've seen in the quarters and the semi-finals, at your peril, write him off. Finn Hågen Krogh now going right up there, runner-up in Lahti and 3rd in Lenzerheide this season. 3rd best in the World Cup sprint rankings. Runner-up in the Tour de Ski. So a real threat to everybody in this race. And he leads as they come round to the stadium for the first time. Norway, France, and then Norway, Petter Northug. And you can see Ustugov's moved up a place or 2. He's ahead of both Simeon Hamilton, who's dropped back to last place, and at the moment 17, the Olympic champion Hadderstad, just in front of Simeon Hamilton. Frenchman looks comfortable. Ustugov up into 3rd, ahead of Petter Northug now, and a move by Hadderstad on the outside, realizing that he's too far off the pace. Finn Hågen Krogh skips round these turns. Ustugov on the inside there. I thought for a moment he was going to go for an impossible position. Hamilton's gone for that on the inside. Now they come up this drag, and Finn Hågen Krogh wants to get first to the turn. Ustugov trying to go up there. Richard Jouvet on the inside, and that's the optimum line, and Ustugov has followed him through. And Finn Hågen Krogh suddenly finds himself in 3rd place. Simeon Hamilton right behind with Petter Northug, and Hadderstad can't get at him. So Northug, could he possibly from there do anything? Ustigov on the far side. Richard Juve never won a sprint, but he's on the near side. He's got the inside turn. Finn Hagen Krog coming back. So is Petter Northug on the near side. Simeon Hamilton on the far side. Ustigov pulls it out ahead of Hamilton and Juve. Oh! And Northug firing at the end with Krog. But in fact, it was Ustigov of Russia almost taking out the television camera. But that's a wonderful victory. What a way to start the Tour of Canada for Sergei Ustigov. 23 years of age, and he's looked a threat right the way through these finals, and that is a superb performance. So Simeon Hamilton looks as if he's in third place on the podium. Juve has created a new personal best, finishing in second place. Finn Krog fourth, Harrestad and Northug only sixth at the end of the day. Didn't have the pace, wasn't in the right place at the right time. And look at the power here of Ustigov, and they lunge, and that is great news for Hamilton. Like Jess Diggins, America have got an American in and on the podium in third place. So Ustigov powers on, but it's the perfect start for him for this Tour of Canada. And the Russians in recent weeks have looked a force to be reckoned with. And it's going to be fascinating to watch Ustigov's progress as we go through Eastern and then Western Canada to Canmore. Delight for Simeon Hamilton. It's the first time the World Cup will be finishing in North America, but in this case Canada. So everybody hoping that this is going to be a great finale to the season. The Crystal Globes have never been handed out in North America, so an absolutely delighted Russian. Well, Simeon Hamilton, he can't be too disappointed, and I don't think he is at all.
So folks, don't go away. Simi gets a big hug from the family. Good job, Simi. And once again,
Simi from Aspen, Colorado. 28 years of age, 12th in the World Championships last year, but making progress. The runner-up in Toblach, and third here, his second best result of the season so far. And Richard Juve, as I said, a new personal best for him. So hopefully we'll get a few words from Sergei Ustigov, and also hopefully an update on the points rankings. First, the celebratory photograph, and I hope this has whetted your appetite for the races here. Of course, as I said, the second stage is in Montreal, the Mass Start Classic race. That's tomorrow, with Mont Royal providing a real challenge for the world's top skiers. It's a really famous site in the heart of Quebec's largest city, which hosted the first ever national cross-country ski championships way back in 1921. So plenty to look forward to. Here's the winner.
Okay, Sergei, congratulations on another victory. It was really impressive today on a very turny course. You must have been exactly where you wanted to be on the final curve.
The question now, he asked you if the вопрос, это очень тяжелая трасса, немножко тактик нужно, или как ты сам ожидаешь эту трассу?
Да, очень тяжелая трасса на самом деле. 2 круга по 800 метров. много поворотов, и очень тяжелая гонка получилась сегодня. И тактически, мне кажется, сегодня играла большую роль, как здесь работает тактически.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really hard track here. Difficult. Some curves, some turns. I broke one pole in the half final, but at the end it was very good. I feel very strong.
And we saw you third place in the Tour de Ski. Now you're the winner on the first stage of Ski Tour Canada. Just, I assume it has to be just like you wanted to start.
Tu pa kad tretji pol napravil Tour de Ski, сейчас выигрывали это первая гонка здесь, на Tour de Canada. Как это чувствуешь?
Первая победа в спринтах, тем более это на туре. Очень супер. Надеюсь, что дальше не буду сбавлять обороты, а только держаться в первых местах. Смотрим.
It was the first win in the sprint this year, so he's very happy that it was in Canada, on this first Tour de Ski in Canada, and I hope it will be coming further.
All right, so a distance win and a sprint win now. Congratulations and good luck the rest of the tour.
Спасибо.
So, as you can imagine, a delighted Sergei Ustugov. And there you can see the timing differences there. And pretty close up front there. Jess Diggins, well placed, although the classic race coming up in Montreal might not be absolutely to her final, but I think to her liking. But Heidi Weng, very well placed there. And also, as you go down the rankings, you will have seen Teresa Johaug, and she's certain to be in amongst it in 24 hours. There she is, Teresa Johaug, 54 seconds down, but that will be no impediment, I'm sure. Always difficult when you have a long flight. You're always a bit concerned with the air conditioning in the planes and everything else to keep well. It's hoods on, and many of the athletes, in fact, wear masks to protect themselves from any possible germs that may be in the aircraft. It's that serious, because when you're racing, as these women are, at the very top of their limits, they are on the edge all the time. So another great afternoon for Maika Kaspersen-Faller, another course that she's conquered. As Sergei Ustugov said, not an easy track, twists and turns, 1,700 meters, quite long, but delighted in the end, Maika Kaspersen-Faller, to be on top, ahead of Stina Nielsen, and ultimately Jess Diggins, seen here in the dark blue, to finish off in third place, ahead of Ersberg. And that's a good scalp always to take. Best season of her sprinting life, of that there is no doubt. So there you can see the overall standings and the time differentials when all the bonus seconds have been computed. And just having a look down here at the time differentials in terms of the individual race, of course. Teresa Johaug in 27th place, but I don't think that's going to worry her too much. And there you can see Johaug, and you can see Ersberg there, 215 points behind in the overall. And Heidi Weng in third place. And Ersberg, who started the day 246 behind. So she's gained points, so has Heidi Weng. And that's why in the last races over in Europe, Teresa Johaug was so determined not only to win the races, but to collect a lot of bonus points, as she did, particularly in Oslo, in the 30-kilometer classic there, to ensure that she had sufficient of a cushion to defend her #1 spot. And Stina Nielsen there storming away with the under-23 ranking championship, ahead of the young Austrian Theresa Stadlober, Natalie von Siebenthal, who didn't qualify for the top 30 today. And another trophy. You can see there, Norway very dominant, occupying the first 4 places. Ersberg with a narrow advantage over 2 of her teammates at least. So hopefully we'll have the men's computations momentarily before we take our leave of you. And just while we're waiting for those statistics to come through, just a reminder that tomorrow we're in Montreal. 2 races there. The women's mass start in classic style and the men's mass start. Now the women's race in terms of Central European time will be on the air at 17:45, 5:45 Central European time for tomorrow's start of the women's mass start. And then the men, they get underway with their race at 8:15. The actual race start is 8:30 Central European time. The actual race start for the women tomorrow is 1800.
Mesdames et messieurs, voici la cérémonie protocolaire.
Very different sort of test for tomorrow, endurance racing.
1.7 km sprint Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Ski Tour Canada 2016 first stage women's 1.7K sprint free final podium. Au troisième rang, in third place, from the United States of America, Jessica Diggins.
Well, she's gone from strength to strength this season. And Jess Diggins, well, she flies for the flag for the United States extremely well. Stina Nielsen also, her form is on an upward curve.
Le président du comité organisateur du Ski Tour Canada Gatineau 2016, M. Claude Harvey, a présenté les prix à nos athlètes. Premièrement, encore une fois, de la Norvège, Michael Kaspersen.
Well, there'll be quite a few souvenirs to take apart from these flowers around Canada before they fly back home. In fact, Jessica Diggins hasn't really looked back since that silver medal last year in the 10-kilometer freestyle in Falun. That was such a grown-up performance, and it really boosted her confidence, and she's gone from strength to strength. But when it comes to sprinting, it's going to take a good racer to lower the colours of Micah Kaspersen-Faller. In fact, there's only one woman who's actually managed to do that this season. And that was, of course, Stina Nielsen, who lowered her colours in the second race of the season in Davos. So I don't think, unfortunately, this is taking rather longer than we thought. So we may not be able to stay for the men's presentations. Apologies for that. But we look forward to your company for the races in Montreal in just about 24 hours from now. So that's it from Canada. The Tour de Ski is on its way. It's all begun, and Sergei Ustugov and Micah Kaspersen-Faller, the two solid winners on day 1 of 12.
Okay.
Up together.